The Apostle Paul has some issues. He is the bane of lectors and grammar teachers everywhere. His writings have these run-on sentences. His use of logic is really pathetic, and even if he's trying to encourage people or win people over, his rhetoric is really kind of inflammatory. It's no wonder that he so frequently gets beat up. His attitude is that of a convert that seems to be using his downfall to his advantage, bragging almost about how he was beat up by God, turned around. He has a section in Scripture where he laments about all the stuff that happens to him between the floggings and the beatings and getting stoned and shipwrecked and other afflictions. Everything seems to be focused about him. And yet, it's not. He's trying to make the point that everything that happens to him or through him, good or bad, is for the greater glory of God. In this particular passage in our first reading, Paul goes through some pretty tough times. People show up. They don't take kindly to what he's saying. They try to beat the life out of him, and they think that they do so. And then after his friends, his support group, circle around him, he gets up and he goes back into the city that they dragged him out of after they thought he was dead. That takes some real strength of character. And he doesn't go back as one of our superheroes to get vengeance or revenge or retaliate or beat up the people that beat him up. He simply spends the night and moves on. But I think that there's a certain strength of character to show that he went back into the city to demonstrate that he's not afraid of being killed. He's not afraid of the abuse and persecution. It doesn't thwart him. It doesn't stop him from continuing to deliver the message that he feels that he's called to deliver, to preach the gospel of Jesus Christ. Paul, I believe, is an example for us. We may not be converts in the same way. We may not be apostles or do all the evangelization, and hopefully we don't have all the bad stuff happen to us that has happened to him, but there is bad stuff that happens to us. No one escapes death. No one escapes hardships in this life. And Paul gives us this tenacious spirit, an example of this tenacious spirit to get up and continue on. Maybe not in the victorious way that our culture would like us to see happen, but in a way that perseveres, that allows life to continue, to allow the goodness to persevere through us. So Paul gets to the point to say, if anything that's good happened to me, despite my weakness, it's not me, it's not my strength of character, it is Christ working through me, Christ in me that does these things. And that is something for us to kind of remember as we go through the crises of our lives, whether or not it is a cancer diagnosis or a job loss or pandemic affliction or whatever it is. We can continue in the same spirit, recognizing that Christ dwells within us and gives us enough grace, enough energy, enough persistence to continue as best we can. And in that effort, the glory of God is somehow being delivered. That's contrary to our culture, where we want to be this gun-toting, perfect, powerful leader of whatever in our own minds, if not in fact. And that attempt to putting aside our fears, our vulnerability through a show of power has its limitations. There's always something to bring down the powerful. The higher you are, the harder the fall. And yet Christ's humility, Christ's tenacious spirit, dwelling within us, has the capacity of surviving the worst that life can throw at us. Ultimately, we will die a physical death. We will suffer physical pain. But the grace of God allows that to be a temporary affliction and allows a greater thing to continue through God's life force within us.